It's time for us to take our first steps around fear. Fear is, of course, the thing that separates us from doing everything right against the wall to performing that without the wall, in the middle of the room, in the realm we call freestanding. Fear has two layers, a conscious and a subconscious layer. Consciously, many of you will already experience fear or discomfort. The moment they go from back to the wall to chest to the wall and there's no one to spot them behind, they feel the void behind them and they recoil a bit in their position. It becomes frightening to go any further. And when we move from chest to the wall to freestanding, this becomes even more important unless you have a specific background or you've been at this for quite a while. And suddenly, our beautiful kick-up that we can perform so easily with the wall becomes something like this without it. With maybe, at best, the planets and the stars aligning once a blue moon and allowing you to catch a good handstand, but very inconsistently. Fear, however, also has a subconscious layer to it, meaning sometimes we don't even feel the discomfort, and yet it is impinging our attempts at performing handstands to the highest standards. In other words, I see countless people on a monthly basis, usually at the improver level, that do not really experience any trouble in kicking up freestanding, and yet their handstands look like this. It is not super consistent and the duration is short unless they manage to be completely still in the right position and fighting for their balance there. What this shows is that, one, they're not too eager to go too far forward, which is something we have to grow comfortable. You have to get comfortable, beginners and improvers, with the idea of committing forward enough and knowing that no matter what happens, you will be safe. There is no such thing as practicing your handstand into perfection so that you never face those kind of problems. Quite the contrary, you have to practice all possible scenarios, including those that scare you a bit, and become so comfortable in them that whatever happens, you know you'll be able to exit your handstand, your failing, falling handstand, safely. Only at that price will your nervous system accept the whole transfer of techniques from the realm of wall-assisted handstands to the realm of freestanding handstands. The other element we notice is a very small room for error. So people who suffer from this subconscious layer of fear, when everything goes well, and as we were saying, when the stars align, they can catch their handstands. But the moment there's a bit of wind and their handstand starts falling a bit more forward, they feel that they have to bail before it's too late. And this is super important for all of you to understand. A handstand is not a point in space we're trying to catch. It's a zone of points that we're trying to make bigger and bigger. The less fear you have, both conscious and subconsciously, and the bigger that zone, the bigger the zone, and the easier it is to find when you kick up. Therefore, the frequency with which you kick up, the consistency improves, and the easier it is to stay inside the zone because it's a bigger zone to balance in, so you can even make mistakes and still not fall out of balance. The difference is quite noticeable when you know what to look for. This is me kicking up in a very narrow balancing zone because I'm afraid of what may happen if I let my body sway a bit too much forward towards where my fingertips are pointing. And therefore, the moment my feet go past midday, I feel I have to bail. This is true in any alignment, by the way. This is yours truly, again, more comfortable with the idea of moving forward and fighting against the fall nonetheless, knowing when I have to bail and when I can keep fighting for this. Of course, performing all this requires you to be strong in all the pillars we have mentioned from day one. Fear is what will make it possible for you to tap onto those skills to improve how long you can hold yourself upside down, how frequently we can catch a handstand without the wall, and therefore how straight you can be, because the longer you can stand on your hands and the easier it is for you to catch a handstand, and the more opportunities you have to refine your alignment. And next thing you know, you kick up into something even straighter, which we will talk more about in a future video. What I want you to understand from this first video, however, is that fear will either prevent you from committing far enough when you kick up, or in its subconscious layer, prevent you from fighting long enough without you even realizing it. Next thing you know, you have people falling again for insane handstands. Remember our definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so their handstand freestanding seems stuck like a broken record. And they keep at it. They keep doing this for the beginner who cannot commit far forward enough, and this for the improver who is just waiting for that one moment where everything seems to be working. None of this is very conducive to progress because you're reiterating a lot of not so great repetitions in the process. You're greasing different grooves, including the ones that you want to extinguish. And in the realm of learning science, there is value in us making mistakes, but when we make mistakes, we have to learn from them, we have to recognize they are mistakes, and we have to know what to do to fix them in the future so that we can end up greasing the one groove that matters to us. This is where you take things back to the wall and you investigate what is happening here. Which of those pillars is not so great? How can I improve this with the wall? Your homework today is to kick up a few times with the wall and then try something without it, because here's the thing. We do have to practice without the wall, even if we know that we cannot do much there. Fear is conquered two ways, chest to the wall and freestanding. And there's dozens of drills I can think of that can help both parts. But we have, once again, to take stocks and see what is happening to be able to recognize the mistakes. See it first, try to fix it second. Record yourself freestanding while being safe, and if you're not too sure of what to do, it is as simple as this. I bring my hands down already on the floor, even if I am someone who prefers to lunge into it, like you would have seen me do because I prefer this entry. Bring your hands down on the floor because we feel more anchored here. We have this leg here that swings, the other leg that pushes, and we try to catch something, go as high as possible. It can be as low as this. I like to insist on you landing softly on the wall. Or if you're a bit more comfortable, go higher, provided that you know what to do when it comes to bailing, which is a different story for a different day. And then you're going to compare this with what happens with the wall. Kick up against the wall like you were doing before. And 1. Compare how consistent you are at reaching the wall versus how consistent you were at committing past vertical. And for some of you, this is going to be 0%, 0 time out of 10. And for some of you, reaching the wall itself is already hard. 2, look at the differences in your body position. We will keep talking about this tomorrow, but more specifically, look at what you do differently here compared to there. More specifically, if I have to guide you, when it comes to 1, the position of your shoulders, 2, the position of your head, 3, the position of your pelvis, 4, the position of your legs. Are they exactly the same here as they are there? If not, why not? You can take 2 screenshots and put them side to side, or you can send 2 videos for your homework, one of the back to the wall and one of your freestanding, and we compare them.